Every man watching this knows deep down you're not living at your full potential. And every second you waste, you're letting the weaker version of you win. That voice in your head that tells you to rest, to delay, to stay average, it's killing you, slowly, quietly. And if you don't wake up now, you'll die ordinary. Is that what you want? Let me tell you something that nobody else will say because they're too afraid to hurt your feelings. Life doesn't care about your anxiety. It doesn't slow down when you're stressed. It doesn't apologize when you feel overwhelmed. It keeps moving whether you're ready or not. And if you can't toughen up, it will bury you quietly, painfully, and without remorse. But here's the truth. That pressure you feel, that mental strain, that emotional chaos you're trying so hard to avoid, that's exactly what you need. The pain isn't the problem. It's your refusal to face it. You've been lied to your entire life. They told you mental health is about self-care and scented candles, and talking about your feelings, that's half the equation. The other half, the one they never mention, is self-confrontation, discipline, forging strength through suffering. You don't become mentally tough by running from discomfort. You become mentally tough by walking straight into the storm and refusing to bow. Every man on this planet will be tested. That's not a maybe. It's a guarantee. Your business will fail. Someone you love will betray you. You'll lose money, time, relationships. The world will slap you, choke you, spit on you, and in that moment, the question is not, will it stop? The question is, what are you going to do about it? Most crumble. They fold under the weight of life because they've been conditioned to believe hardship is unnatural. It's not. Struggle is the gym for your soul. It's resistance that breeds resilience. You want to be mentally strong. Stop searching for peace in a world that's designed for war. Find peace in your own ability to dominate the chaos. You think, I've never been broken. You think, I've never felt pain so deep it could shatter a man. The difference is, I didn't run. I didn't whine. I didn't post about it. I absorbed it. I wore it like armor. Because real strength isn't pretending you're untouchable. It's becoming so battle-tested that pain no longer defines you. The modern world has created cowards, soft minds, fragile egos. You care more about how people perceive you than how powerful you've become. You avoid conflict. You dodge challenges. And then you wonder why your confidence is non-existent. Because confidence isn't built through comfort. It's forged in fire. You become mentally tough the same way you build muscle. Resistance, repetition, and recovery. No one gets strong without breaking first. That's the price of greatness. The suffering is the cost of the crown. But instead of paying it, you keep asking for discounts. You want the success, the mindset, the lifestyle, but you don't want the blood. That's why you keep failing. You haven't accepted that pain is the entry fee. But here's the part they never tell you, the part that gives you hope. Once you learn to carry the weight, it no longer feels heavy. Once you start facing hardship voluntarily, it stops surprising you. Once you realize that your suffering is shaping something unshakable inside you, you start to crave the battle. Not because you love pain, but because you understand what it's doing to you is building something that can't be bought. It's molding a version of you that doesn't quit, doesn't complain, doesn't crumble. And that version of you, the one forged in the fire, is capable of achieving anything. That's the part of the journey where things change. That's when you stop fearing the fight and start becoming the fighter. You don't need a therapist. You need a mission. You need to suffer with purpose. You need to rise when it's easier to lay down. That's what builds mental toughness. When the alarm hits at 5 a.m. and your body begs for sleep, but you get up anyway. That's resilience. When everything's falling apart and you still execute like a machine, that's power. When your mind tells you you're finished, but you choose to keep going, that's where transformation happens. And the crazy part is, the more you do it, the more you want it. Pain becomes fuel. Discipline becomes peace. Challenge becomes joy. That's the secret. Not avoiding the storm, but becoming the storm. You're not weak because life is hard. You're weak because you haven't trained for it. But that can change today, right now. You don't need to be born with a tough mind. You build it one brutal rep at a time. Every setback is a setup. Every failure is a forge. Every rejection is a redirection. The world's going to keep testing you. That's a fact. But the good news, you get stronger every time you decide to show up. You become more dangerous every time you choose to fight instead of fold. And if you do that long enough, one day you wake up and realize nothing breaks you anymore. You've become everything life tried to stop you from becoming. There was a point in my life where everything felt like it was crumbling. Not metaphorically, literally. My business was under attack. The media slandered my name. People I trusted turned into snakes. And the entire world seemed to be sharpening its knives with my face on the target. And in that chaos, I didn't feel fear. I didn't feel anxiety. I felt something far more dangerous. I felt clarity. But most people never understand. Real strength doesn't come when life is going well. It comes when you're standing in the middle of absolute destruction. And instead of crying about it, you start laughing because deep down you realize this is the test you've been waiting for. This is the moment that separates men from boys. Most of you fold before life even throws a punch. I was standing there, catching every hit and still moving forward, not because I'm special, but because I made a decision long ago. I would never let external chaos determine my internal power. That's how warriors are made. People love the highlight reel. They see the cars, the lifestyle, the women, the money. They want the fruits, but they never ask about the soil. They don't want to know how deep the roots had to go. They don't want to hear about the nights I didn't sleep, the times I had no food in the fridge, the silence in the room when I realized no one was coming to save me. I've been betrayed more times than I can count, by friends, by family, by people I gave everything to. And every time it happened, I became sharper, colder, more calculated. Not bitter, better. Pain didn't poison me, it purified me. That's the difference. Weak men let betrayal define them. Strong men use it to define their next move. When someone tried to break me, I studied their strategy. When they lied about me, I learned how to control the narrative. When they pushed me to the edge, I discovered how to build wings instead of falling. That's what resilience looks like in the real world. You don't just endure, you adapt, evolve, and conquer. There was a time I was broke, flat out broke. I wasn't posting motivational quotes. I wasn't crying online. I was grinding in silence, locked in a room with nothing but pressure and a burning hatred for mediocrity. I remember being so broke I'd ration food, train harder just to stay sane, and read books while others scrolled aimlessly. I wasn't chasing comfort. I was chasing power. And I knew every second of pain was shaping me into something most men could never touch. They don't teach this kind of thing in school. They teach compliance. They teach obedience. But the real curriculum of life, that's taught in silence and isolation and adversity. The world doesn't crown the smartest. It crowns the most resilient. And I made a vow in that tiny room. I would never be average again. I would fight until the world either respected me or feared me. And either outcome was fine, 'cause I wasn't built to be liked. I was built to win. Most of you think strength is about being loud. Real strength is silent. It's the man who walks into a room and commands respect without saying a word. It's the man who gets stabbed in the back and smiles because he's already 10 steps ahead. It's the man who takes betrayal and turns it into business. That level of control doesn't come from motivation videos or morning routines. It comes from surviving storms that would drown the average man. That's what I went through. Every battle I faced became another weapon in my arsenal. Every failure became a formula. Every scar became a strategy. I didn't wish for a peaceful life. I became the man who thrives in war. That's why nothing shakes me. That's why I can speak the way I do, because I've been through hell and came out owning the flame. And here's the part I want you to understand. This isn't just my story. This can be yours. Resilience is not exclusive. It's not genetic. It's a choice. Every man has his crucible. Most run from it, a few walk through it, and the rarest ones, they drag that crucible with them as a badge of honor. You think I'm invincible? I'm not. I just refuse to surrender. I refuse to blame the world. I took responsibility for everything, even the things out of my control. That's where power begins. When you stop crying for a lifeline and start building a ship, when you stop asking for peace and start training for war, that's what mental toughness looks like when it's real, when it's earned. So when people ask me why I'm so intense, why I speak with so much fire, it's because I remember every cold night. I remember every moment I was underestimated. I remember the days when I was nobody and nobody cared. And now that I've built an empire, I'll never forget the battlefield that forged it. That pain gave me purpose. That struggle gave me strategy. That darkness made me dangerous. And that's why I speak to you now, not to motivate you, but to wake you up. Because you got your own story. You got your own war. And it's time to stop running from it. It's time to become the kind of man who makes suffering kneel. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. How many days have you already wasted? Think about it. Not casually, not passively. Really think about it. How many mornings have you opened your eyes and scrolled for hours, escaping into meaningless distractions, avoiding the truth screaming inside your head? You wake up with this pit in your stomach, that quiet guilt, that dull ache that reminds you you're not doing what you were born to do, and you push it down. You smother it with music, food, porn, games, whatever you can find to silence the sound of your own failure. And the worst part, you've gotten good at it. You've mastered avoidance. That's what terrifies me. You've normalized mediocrity to the point that you no longer even flinch at wasting your own life. You're dying in slow motion, and you don't even care. That should horrify you. There's a storm coming, not just outside, in here, in your chest, in your head. And every day you ignore it, it gets worse. You think you're safe because nothing's falling apart yet, You think 'cause you're comfortable, you're in control. Let me tell you something. Comfort is a slow, silent killer. It lulls you into passivity, whispers that you've got time, makes you forget that every minute you delay is a minute you'll regret when it's gone. And you've already missed opportunities because you weren't ready. You've already let fear talk you out of risks that could have changed everything. And those moments don't come back. Life doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care how hard your past was. It only listens to action. And the longer you hide behind hesitation, the louder the pain of regret is going to echo when you're older, when it's too late to reverse the clock. You know what's scarier than failure? Waking up at 40, 50, 60 and realizing you never even tried. That's the hell most men end up in. That quiet misery where you're surrounded by things you don't love, people you don't respect, living a life you never chose because you were too soft when it counted. You folded in the critical moments. You waited. You hesitated. And life doesn't pause for cowards. Look around. The people who had less than you now run circles around you. The men you called lucky outworked you while you slept in. And by the time you realize it, you're stuck in a cycle that feels unbreakable. That's what real fear is. Not rejection, not risk, but irrelevance. The kind that comes from a lifetime of small compromises. The kind that turns potential into a prison. But here's what they won't tell you. That same fire that's destroying you from the inside, it can rebuild you. That shame, that guilt, that frustration you feel every time you look in the mirror, it's not a curse. It's a compass. It's pointing directly at the version of you that you are meant to become. You've just been ignoring it. You've been afraid to confront it because you think it's too late, or you're too far gone, or you're not good enough. Nonsense. That voice is the one honest part of you. The part that's still alive. The part that refuses to settle. The part that remembers what it felt like to dream without limits. And if you stop running for even 1 second and listen, really listen, you'll hear it again. That's your shot. That's your spark. That's your rebirth. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another quote or video or shortcut. What you need is to decide that you're done tolerating weakness in yourself. That you're done watching life pass you by while other men seize what should have been yours. You need to look at your pain and say, I built this prison and now I'm burning it down. That's the energy that creates revolutions. That's the mindset that flips the script. Not desperation, not victimhood. Power, ownership, ruthless accountability. That's the formula. You take everything that hurt you, everything that broke you, every loss, every betrayal, every moment you felt like quitting, and you forge it into fuel, into fury, into force. People ask me how I stay hungry when I've already made it. The answer is simple. I remember what it felt like to be powerless. I remember what it was like to have no options, no leverage, no identity. I remember watching others live the life I wanted, knowing I had the same brain, the same heart, the same potential. But I lacked the fire. That memory haunts me. It drives me. It forces me to keep sharpening the blade even when I could rest. Because the second you get comfortable, life starts taking it all back. And I refuse to let that happen. I won't die with anything left in the tank, and neither should you. This is your wake-up call, not a gentle nudge, a full-blown reckoning. Because if you don't shift now, You'll look back 5 years from today and realize this was the moment you could have changed. This was the minute that could have marked the end of the old you. And if you let it slip again, if you brush this off like everything else, you deserve exactly what's coming. You deserve the mediocrity, the disappointment, the quiet shame. But if you take it seriously, if you rise now, not tomorrow, not next month, right now, everything can change. Everything. You're one decision away from becoming the man you were always meant to be. Don't waste it. But let me make something clear. The world doesn't slow down for indecisive men. While you're busy thinking about getting started, someone else is already winning. Someone else with less talent, less resources, maybe even less intelligence, but with more fire, more discipline, more obsession. He's already running laps around you. That should make your blood boil because you know deep down you were built for more than this. You weren't put on this earth to blend in, to get by, to barely function until the weekend. You were put here to dominate, to impose your will, to make life bend in your direction. But instead, you've been tolerating this low-level version of yourself, waking up without urgency, moving through your day like you're owed something, chasing comfort like a drug, like it's going to save you. It's a trap. And the longer you chase it, the further you drift from who you were designed to be. Discipline isn't optional. It's the foundation. It's what separates the lions from the sheep. You think I wake up every morning excited to train, to work, to conquer the same battles over and over? Number, I do it because that's the cost of greatness. Because I made a contract with myself that I'd never be average again. You think greatness is built on excitement and motivation. No, it's built on doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. In the silence, in the decisions no one sees, when no one's clapping, when no one's watching. You earn your future in those hidden moments. The gym when it's raining, the cold shower when you're tired, the laptop at midnight when your friends are out partying. That's where kings are forged. That's where destiny gets rewritten. You've been told to follow your passion. You've been fed the idea that things should feel good or else they're not meant for you. That's poison. Real men don't wait to feel ready. They act, then they become. You want confidence? Start keeping promises to yourself. You want to respect yourself? Stop negotiating with your weaknesses. You want freedom? Then put yourself through hell willingly, so no man, no job, no system can ever own you. That's the paradox they'll never teach you. The more structure you enforce on your life, the more control you gain over everything else. You become untouchable, unstoppable, a machine of purpose. And that's the kind of man who bends reality. Not the guy chasing pleasure, but the one who manufactures power every single day. You need to become your own standard. Stop waiting for external validation. Stop needing someone to clap for you. Stop hoping someone will notice your potential. You notice it. You confirm it through action. You prove it to yourself in the repetition, in the sacrifice, in the nights you suffer in silence because you know what you're building. This isn't about motivation anymore. This is about war, personal war, between the man you are and the man you could be. Every time you delay, every time you compromise, every time you let fear drive the car, you let the wrong version of you win. And one day that version takes over permanently. You don't get another shot. You don't get to rewind. You either rise now or regret it for the rest of your life. You don't need to be perfect. That's another lie. You just need to be relentless. Every day, chip away at the weakness. Every hour, move forward, even if it's just an inch. Stack small wins until your momentum becomes a force no one can stop. Consistency beats intensity when intensity is inconsistent. The guys who make it, they're not always the strongest, but they're the most obsessed, the most committed, the ones who show up even when it sucks, when they're exhausted, when nothing is going their way and they still put in the reps. That's the energy that rewires your entire existence. Not perfection, not luck, relentless forward pressure. Going to change your life, then accept this truth. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to hand you a blueprint. No one is going to pull you from the hole you dug yourself into, and they shouldn't. That responsibility is yours. And that's beautiful, because once you accept that it's all on you, the pain, the progress, the process, then you become truly free. Free to win, free to rise, free to rebuild yourself into something so dangerous, so driven, so disciplined that even your past self wouldn't recognize you. That's what life is offering you right now. That's what this moment is. A line in the sand, a fork in the road. You either go back to being soft, being scared, being a slave to your impulses, or you flip the switch and go all in. No more compromise, no more second chances. Every breath you take is either building your future or stealing from it. There's no neutral, there's no pause. You're either sharpening the blade or letting it rust. You choose every day, every action, every thought. So choose wisely. Choose power. Choose pressure. Choose purpose. Because the man you're becoming is watching. He's waiting. And the only question is, will you have the balls to meet him? This is the part where most people turn the video off. This is the moment where the average man shrinks, nods, says he's right, then gets up and does nothing. That's what makes him average. That's what keeps him trapped. And if you walk away now, if you let this fire die before it turns into action, you're no different. You'll go back to your distractions. You'll drown in dopamine. You'll scroll. You'll snack. You'll sleep. And you'll silently beg for someone to save you. But no one's coming. There's no cavalry, no secret mentor, no magical routine, just you, your decisions, and the raw, brutal truth. You're either building your future or you're actively burying it under your own excuses. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to light the fuse. You've been sitting on potential for years. You've got the strength, the ideas, the raw fuel, but you haven't dared to go all in. Why? Because failure terrifies you. Because you're afraid of looking stupid. Because the people around you might laugh. They're already laughing, not to your face, but behind your back. They see the gap between who you say you are and who you actually are. And until that gap disappears, you'll never know peace. You'll live with this background noise of shame, that haunting feeling that you could have been dangerous but chose to be forgettable. That's worse than pain. That's death in disguise. Now, look around. Look at your room, your bank account, your body, your calendar. Look at the way you've been living. Is that what you're proud of? Is that what you want your name to be attached to? 'Cause every decision you make today will echo through every future version of you. Every missed workout becomes a weakness. Every wasted hour becomes a chain. And every day you delay, the gap widens between who you are and who you were born to be. You think you've got time. You don't. You think you can wait until you feel ready? That moment never comes. Life will not pause until you're confident. It will crush you the second you hesitate. So this is the moment, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. You want a better life? Get obsessed with earning it. Stop chasing balance. Stop asking for breaks. Stop hoping for easier. Learn to carry more. You don't need motivation. You need clarity. You need to burn the boats and commit like your life depends on it, because it does. You want to be respected? Then stop breaking your own word. Get up earlier. Train harder. Build something every day, no matter what. Show the world you're not the type to be ignored. You want to feel powerful? Then take ownership of everything. No more blaming your past. No more whining about your circumstances. Own the chaos. Master it. Turn it into your advantage, because the man who thrives in discomfort is the man who commands the world. And don't just do it for you. Do it for your future bloodline, for the son you'll raise to never bow, for the family name that will echo through generations, because you had the guts to change the trajectory. You were not born to be weak. You were not designed to be passive. You were engineered for war. And every war starts with a decision. So make it today, right now. Decide that enough is enough. Decide that the excuses die here, that the old version of you, the lazy one, the doubtful one, the scared one, he doesn't make it past this point. Burn him to ash. Because from this moment forward, every action must scream one thing. I am not the same man I was yesterday. There's nothing wrong with feeling lost. What's wrong is staying lost when you've been handed the map. You know what needs to be done. You know the work, the diet, the sleep, the focus, the discipline. It's not a mystery. The only mystery left is whether you'll finally stop fantasizing and start executing. And let me be brutally honest. If you don't do it now, if you let this fire fade again, you'll prove to yourself that you're not ready to lead, that you're meant to follow, and you'll carry that regret in the silence for the rest of your life. Every time you see someone winning, every time you feel that sting of jealousy, it'll remind you of this moment and what you didn't do with it. But if you act now, if you stand up, flip the switch, and commit with your entire soul, you'll feel something shift. That inner voice that's been quiet for years will roar back to life. That broken posture will straighten. That fog in your mind will lift. You'll begin walking like a man who owns his future, a man who cannot be denied, a man who has tasted weakness and vowed to never bow to it again. And it won't be easy. There will be blood, sweat, isolation. But on the other side, power, peace, legacy. And when you get there, when you finally feel what it means to live with honor, discipline, and purpose, you'll wonder why you ever accepted anything less. So choose, rise or rot, build or decay, lead or be forgotten. This is your moment. This is the line in the sand. Step over it and never look back.